Welcome to the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society's Sounds Like Edison with Lawrence Gibbs and Museum Director Rick Godley. Each episode, Lawrence Gibbs will choose a song from the Lincoln Parish Museum's Edison collection of records, share some historical facts and information, as well as play each record on the original 1912 Edison Phonograph in the parlor of the Lincoln Parish Museum. Now sit back and enjoy the sounds from our time machine, a 1912 Edison A-250 Model Phonograph. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rick Godley, the director of the Lincoln Parish Museum for the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society for another edition, episode 6 of Sounds Like Edison. And this edition will be just a little thing called Rhythm with Lawrence Gibbs and also Robert Wesley Davis, as we are enjoying bringing these episodes to you. So if you would, feel free to share feedback and comments down below. And also, if you would, like the channel. We have a channel now on YouTube for the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society. And share this out, and then share with us any ideas that you have that we could make and create the second Renaissance for the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society here in the museum, as well as the gardens. Matter of fact, Lawrence, this week, again, it's been a very busy week. The plans are in works now to get the gazebo restored. Fantastic. The original wood, the tornado came through in 2019, I do believe, in Ruston, and a huge oak tree knocked over the gazebo, and it's been desolate since, but even that's going to be coming back to life. We'll have updates for you on that, as well as the museum itself this week. Awesome. We relaunched the Chautauqua Speakers series, and it was well attended, and we're going to be having more of them. And I am open to ideas that you have. So if you would, please reach out to me and share them with me, because the more people that come in here, and this is the thing, Lawrence, people walk in here and they go, they're in awe looking around, and I know when I got here. And it's magical place is a perfect adjective phrase for this place. It's a special place. And so one of those specialties is this time machine that I want to say Lawrence discovered one hot June day. Right. And it's a 1912, is it an A-250? A-250, A-250.
Yes. They only made 1,800 of those.
1,800 of them. So we have no earthly idea how many are left. I guarantee there's not 1,800 on the planet. One is here. It's a time machine. Lawrence checked it out. Fully functional. Yes. It's mint condition, may not be too far of a stretch.
Yeah. It's amazing to me, amazing condition.
So what we've been doing is featuring one record. Let me just do one other quick story. So here we're exploring the museum in June, and Lawrence, we found this. He comes back the very next day and he says, Rick, I couldn't sleep last night. I got to go back upstairs. And I said, what for? I just got to see if there's more records. Right. And what did you find?
That closet full right there, that container full, 200, almost 100, I think 168 usable discs.
So that's as many episodes as we can do, provided you like them and give us feedback. This is episode 6, and we're going to kind of up it a little bit, right? From what we've been presenting. This is just a little thing called Rhythm. Ernie Golden, tell us about it.
Okay. Around 1925, music changed a good bit. Dixieland had come up from New Orleans into Chicago, and then that came over to New York, and everybody went absolutely crazy over it. It was syncopation, and it was stuff that, it was music that had not really been heard before. It was all new. And it was very much based around ragtime piano. And so you found songs that used rhythm in the name, just to let people know that's why this is sounding like it does. And so it was all based around the Charleston dance craze and foxtrots and new dance crazes of the 20s, the roaring 20s. Yes, boy, we couldn't time that better. Anyway, Ernie Golden, I've got to tell you, it was very little on the internet, and I could not find much about him other than he was a pianist, composer, arranger, and he led the orchestra at the Hotel McAlpin Hotel in New York. Now, I was not familiar with this myself. Shame on me, because it was right by the on Broadway and 34th. It was a huge place now called Herald Towers. And it was one of the most popular and largest hotels in the world at the time it was built. And it was built in 1912, about the time this thing was. And so around the 1920s, it was in its heyday. 25 stories. You'll have to look it up. It would take us hours to talk about this place. What a grand hotel, second only to the Waldorf Astoria, to say that. It also had a bottom floor, a basement that had one of the most ornate Spanish Renaissance, I guess it was an elaborate restaurant, Spanish Renaissance restaurant. They called it the grill, the Marine Grill. The Marine Grill. It was known for its decor, beautiful windows and things like that. So it was very elaborate, and it was like one of the in places to be. If you couldn't quite make the Waldorf Astoria, you went around the corner to this place. But anyway, he had one of the top orchestras, society orchestras. They varied in size from 15 or 16 maybe, or even less, to maybe a 35, 40 piece orchestra with strings and everything. And so here, Charles Edison's, one of his middle sons, I think, had a love for this music when it first came out, and his father, who could care less for it, to tell you the truth, put him in charge of finding the youthful music, let's say, of the day. And so, anyway, Charles would go out and find these orchestras, and there would be music galore. So this piece called Just a Little Thing Called Rhythm was 1925. Now, 1925 was also the time that Victor, the opposing company, let's say, had put out what's called the orthophonic record. That was the better high fidelity record that they had to do because of Edison's quality of his music. So there was this battle going on. Well, Edison wanted to make sure that they kept up with the times, and so you have this. It is amazing to me when this was done on the first take, by the way.
Oh, really?
This was take one. And Charles felt like, well, that's as good as that can be done. And it probably was. So anyway, what we have here is, I'll point out a few things for you to listen to. This music is what we call pre-swing music. It is very much ragtime based in the day, similar to Dixieland, but a little bit stricter rhythmically. And so this was an 8-piece Dixieland combo taken out of the large orchestra. You will hear a main lead trumpet is the leader of this bunch, followed by the clarinet. You have saxophones, alto, tenor, and a bari sax, which has given a solo. You have trombone, tuba, banjo, because in place of the guitar, which didn't have enough volume to record, the banjo would be picked up by the early media there. And drums. Not a drum set, but just drums. So you have the lead melody you will hear is complex to listen to. It's very jerky, and it's designed for them to dance to. I can't imagine what it must have looked like. But the trumpet starts, the saxophone section takes over. There is a bridge section of different material. Then you have more trumpet, a bari sax solo, and a very rare banjo solo in this thing. They lead out what we call an out chorus, and the trumpet It's very much like the beginning, but it leads it out. A little clarinet break at the end, and it all ends up with a lot of noise. So I guess we're ready for just a little thing called rhythm.
Sure, just a little thing called rhythm. Ernie Golden here at the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society as we're in the parlor, as we're going to hear episode number 6. And you got to wonder there, Lawrence, maybe F. Scott and Zelda danced to this one. Huh?
Might be. Well, this was the day, and this is the other side of Edison music. Quick ending.
Wow. One take for just a little thing called Rhythm, written by Ernie Golden and performed, as Lawrence, you said, in the Hotel McAlpin. That's the Hotel McAlpin Orchestra, correct?
Yes, that is.
Think about the size of, I guess, the ballroom, the dance room. They had to play loud.
Right, and that's They had some
there was no amplification.
Well, a little bit, but not anything like what we're used to now.
Right.
And what I was just listening, I said, well, you can hear the Charleston all over that because they were doing their little things.
Right.
You could just see that. So it was very well made for dancing. From what I can conjure up in my mind, the pictures I've seen online, it was almost the entire bottom floor of that hotel, which was almost half a block because the tower, big, I'm trying to think of the name of it, the Empire building is on that other side over there. And so this was a huge hotel with 1,500 rooms, and a lot of people were down. It held 250 people in that room, and there's a huge dance floor and a place where the orchestra was, and that was in the 20s, before the swing era and dance bands really became popular.
You could hear that, as you mentioned, the birth or a little hint of the swing to follow, which would be in more the 40s than the 30s.
Right. Well, late 38.
Late 30s, and then also what struck me, the cycles and circles of life. This is roaring 20s, right after the devastation of World War I. Well, let's cycle it forward to World War II. What we get in the 50s, but the birth of the rock and roll,
right,
and into the 60s. And what else did we get? You got Thomas Edison saying, "I don't want any of that." His son picks it up, runs with it, and the same thing happened after post-World War II.
Right. And I didn't realize how short-lived the Edison discs were. They stopped production October 29th, 1929, which was the day of the big crash. Now, that crash had nothing to do with Edison's decision on this. The advent of radio was something that Edison really had difficulty with, and he did not want to compete with it, and his was all about his invention. And that's an amazing thing for them to get that at the end. He just realized that, okay, I'm good. I think we'll shut this down.
Well, as a follow-up on that, the end of, quote, Edison, if you will, in this part of his career and creations. But you brought up the Victor, which is the root of the RCA Victor and the Victrola. So that's kind of took the baton and kept it going.
Well, they
forward.
won that battle, I guess,
Right.
and it caused them to improve to make sure that they were at least as good as his disc sounded. Totally different technologies, kind of like the Beta,
And
whatever that was, but it's a blast, and I'm still discovering new material. I have to come here and listen to some of these discs and find out something that's unique, and that's what this is all about.
One other note too, Billy Green was here, and upstairs was the ballroom, if you will, the party room, the dance room.
Right.
And Billy would say that when they played the music as a child, his parents would cover the chandeliers.
I'm sure.
There were a lot of people upstairs here at the maybe one day we'll have to have our own little ballroom party upstairs.
We won't bring this upstairs.
We won't bring that back upstairs. No, this is going to be here to stay. But once again, we're open to creative ideas to create more relevancy for the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society, not only for the museum, but for the outdoor gardens. Feel free, please, to reach out to me with ideas. I'm open to having a continuing Chautauqua series, and please don't feel that this has to be educators doing the speaking. If you have an interest and you want to share that interest with people, I want to invite you to come and be part of the museum, and then also we'll make a presentation. We'll make that happen for you. Again, we want to thank you for your generous donations, because we are a nonprofit organization solely depending upon, as Blanche Dubois said in Streetcar Named Desire, the kindness of strangers. But you're not a stranger, because this place has been here since 1976, opened officially in 1978, and through all those decades, this museum, this house, and the land has many touch points with many generations. And for me, Lawrence, the greatest thing I could hear is when somebody walks in here for the first time and are awestruck and didn't know that was here. And we know there's many out there. That's just an opportunity.
Absolutely. On the right track for this wonderful place.
Episode number 6 of Sounds like Edison, just a little thing called rhythm. Ernie Golden, Lawrence Gibbs, I'm Rick Godley. We thank you for your time. Please pass this message and subscribe to the channel. So for this time, that's going to do it for us. And we'll see you next time on episode 7 of Sounds Like Edison. Thank you for watching the Lincoln Parish Museum and Historical Society's Sounds Like Edison with Lawrence Gibbs and Museum Director Rick Godley. Keep in mind, we're a nonprofit organization and we welcome your ideas, suggestions, as well as financial support to sustain our efforts to create a remarkable future as we embark on our second renaissance. Our address is 609 North Vienna Street, Ruston, Louisiana, 71270. Kindly follow us on Facebook to keep connected for future events, exhibits, and educational opportunities about Lincoln Parish. Sounds Like Edison is a Godly Works production.